Welcome to Meet the Human, episode 16. And soon, today, I will take you to Singapore to meet my friend Dipali. Dipali is from India originally. She lives in Singapore for quite a while, and she's going to take us into her very human story. She is a very special character, very professional, also very human, and she has a very rich experience regarding how to progress in life, how to achieve your goals, going through challenges, and she also has interesting views, of course, about AI. She's an electrical engineer by education, and she's working now very much related to subjects which are linked to the application of AI into industries, into maritime. So I hope you enjoy our time with Dipali in Singapore. Let's go. Ready? Okay, we are ready. We are ready. Okay, welcome to Meet the Human, episode 16. And I am again back in Singapore, and I am here with my friend Dipali. Dipali and I, we know each other for so many years. I don't remember how many now, but over a decade for sure. So let's meet Dipali today. Dipali, how are you?
I'm doing good, Luis. Thank you so much for inviting me for this
Oh,
event.
my pleasure. My pleasure. I think you are the second, not fourth person for Singapore, but every one of them is quite different personalities. I'm really looking forward to listen to your story. So, Dipali, tell us a bit of for the audience. I know you a little bit more, but the audience, who you are, a bit of where you're coming from, your origin, so people understand a bit more deep inside your personality.
Okay. So, as you know, my name is Dipali. So, in India, Dipali means the one who is a row of lights. And I think maybe I just like to take you back about when I was born. So, that will give you some context about who I am, and where I come from. So, I was born on the day of Diwali, and that is where my name was given by my great grandmother as Dipali, because it's Dipavali or Diwali, and that's how it was. And the good story about me is I'm the fourth child in my family, fourth female, because I have two elder sisters, and the third is my brother. And we had this massive family, a big family, and my grandfather was a merchant, and my father was in merchant navy. Okay. And the thing is, in those days, having a son in the family was really like of course, who will forward the legacy. However, I just born like after my son, maybe my mistake of my father and mother, I don't know, but I was born. And so it was like, okay, again a female, after having two daughters. So it was really like a very different moment at that point of time. And I remember that growing up, it was always the attention was given to my brother. However, uh, I think somewhere that actually helped me a lot, because I was always being independent in that sense. So considering, you are in a big giant joint family, and then you are on your own most of the time, because I was 4 year old and my father passed away, and my grandfather also passed away in the same 6 months of period. So two men of the house were gone, and my family was led by females. So my grandmother, then my grandmother, and my mother being the eldest daughter-in-law. My mother is a teacher now; she's retired principal, school principal. But really, I mean, that really set the scene for me since my childhood, because you know a joint family of 20 people, and there was only my mother who was really going out and earning money. So since childhood, it was like, okay, you got bare minimum, and you got to find your way out. But the good thing about is that you learn how to be together. You learn how to be on your own. You, despite all the challenges, you know the value of sharing and caring in true means. Um, so I think that really what I come from, where I come from. And I was where I studied. It's a small place in the western part of India, west coast of India, which is called Sangmeshwar. So so it's near Ratnagiri. It's in between Goa and Mumbai, and it was a small little tiny village where I studied among all the kids who were from farming background. So I would say that really made me feel extremely grounded, because everybody just loved each other. So I think being respectful, having gratitude towards everything, that just was what I think truly stayed with me till today. So that's really my background. And then of course, education was always the thing, because my mother being teacher, so education was the only thing where you would move forward. And that is how I studied there in that small tiny village. Our teachers were really good, so I think having good teachers really helped a lot.
Helps.
And then I went for my polytechnic in electrical engineering, and then I came to Mumbai to do my bachelor's in electrical engineering. And that's how my journey evolved, from that small tiny little village to where I am in front of you today giving this podcast. So yeah, that's really all about me.
Amazing, yeah, journey of life. How come what did the electrical engineering came from?
Okay, again my name, row of lights. So I think, it's something just
From
happened.
birth.
It just happened coincidentally, but there is this story. So I always wanted to become a lawyer. I don't know. I
A
always,
lawyer.
yeah, because I always had this sense of right and wrong. Uh, I always had this since childhood, because like if you are the female child, the last daughter, it was always like there was always, if in the house also, if any occasion we want to cook something, there would always be debate what would be cooked today, like the sweet dish, say it will be always my brother's favorite or my favorite or somebody else. So I had this trait of right and wrong since childhood. And I think during childhood I used to watch a lot of movies, and I used to always like these lawyers, debating. So that was something inspired me that I want to become a lawyer. However, when I finished my 10th standard, and my eldest sister, my second sister, my brother, all were staying in hostels, because we didn't have education, environment in our village. So we have to go for higher studies somewhere out. And for my mother to give all of us that kind of education, staying in hostel was not financially easy. So, cut to short, when I finished my 10th standard, which is O level in most of the countries, uh, it was like, okay, should I go, should I do engineering? Should I go to college and do my arts or commerce? And then I said, okay, I want to become lawyer, so I have to go for arts. But then lawyers means you won't make money very fast, and financial struggle was still there. So then one of my friend's brother, he said that why don't you join polytechnic. And that is when I thought, okay, I just negotiated with my mother and went for polytechnic. And I went for electrical, because those are the foundational branches of any engineering. That is where the base, whether civil, mechanics, electrical. So I thought, okay, why not electrical? And then I went for electrical engineering, and I just loved what I did, at that point of time. So eventually that just became my career.
And may I ask, maybe you don't need to reply it, but may I ask, and what about now? How is electrical engineering for you now? Still high? Still important or foundational for you? Or?
It is indeed. I think electrical engineering is one of the best thing ever happened to me, to be frank, in my career, because I think when in currently I work as more on the AI or autonomous systems, and I think it very much goes down to again electrical engineering, because I mean I don't want to be too technical here, but it's really that transition from atom electrons, and then you are working on integrated systems, and artificial intelligence is just a tool, but when you talk about automations and everything, it just the transition of that, it's just the evolvement, rather than. So I think having the foundation is always good, because I always believe it is always taking that one step, and I think evolvement of AI is very much interconnected with the electrical engineering or automation or control system engineering. And then when we talk about quantum, it is nothing but really again going back to the basics, which is physics, and electrical engineering is all about physics. So I think it's really, really very much relevant even today's time, and I don't mind going back on ships and doing surveys, and so I think
So lawyer is gone from your brain, basically.
not really. I think working especially in AI and autonomous systems, you need a lot of thinking about ethical behaviors of AI, or what does authenticity means, what the traceability means, what the transparency means. So I think it really goes back to that, And when you are in the position of policy making, regulations, it very much resembles to being how you can bring the legal frameworks in a manner.
Because for the audience, okay, this is now sort of answered, but actually this is about Dipali's today's world, that this is how you come to today. You have this kind of, Dipali has this kind of a role in life, right, in your profession. We will come back to AI at the end of our chat.
Sure.
I was asking because when I was young, I wanted to be an architect, but I became a naval architect. And now I can tell you, I love architecture, but I sort of did it on ships, not on land. But anyway, that's my story. So, so Dipali, then your origins, and then when did you leave India then to start your outside India experience of life?
Okay, so I finished my engineering in 2003, and then I got my first job in one of the shipbuilding and ship designing companies back in India, called Bharti Shipyard. So Bharti Shipyard was the one which gave me first break, but I learned a lot about the ship, from the basic engineering to the construction engineering, and how to hand over to client. So everything, like the whole cycle of the project, from the design, from the inception of design until, or the idea to seeing that in real in India in 2000, since 2003. And I worked in India in Bharti Shipyard under great leaders, at that point of time, because I think they really taught me not just the commercial aspects of the business world, but also the true leaderships, the value relationships, So I think that was fantastic. So I worked in that company for 3 years, and then I got a break in Alstom, which is now being taken over by GE. So I was working on a hydroelectric power plants. So I worked there. I was in France for Paris for like good over 4 months. So that gave me actually my international working break. And then in 2007, I moved to Singapore because I got a job in Citrium now. That time it was Sembcorp, in fixed oil platform field, and that just stayed. And then I worked in offshore industry for a couple of years, doing again, construction engineering, design engineering, in the complete EPCC, which is really the full project life cycle environment. And it's been almost 11, this is my 12th year with Lloyd's register. So really the journey was like getting your hands dirty really in the hulls of the ship. And then now it is more like in the research, design, regulatory, policy kind of environment. So that's how the evolvement happened.
And now we are in, also, we just came into 2026,
Yes,
finally.
finally.
A very long and rich experience, Dipali. And so going back into the question I ask everybody in this podcast, that when I prepare this podcast with people, some people do ask me about why I ask about humanity, why I ask this question. And that's actually the answer is because you're number 16 person in the podcast. I have got 15 different answers right so far. Of course, they're all related, but they're not exactly the same. So what is your understanding or definition of humanity?
Okay. Really, I mean, you know what, Luis, I would like to say before coming for your podcast, just before coming in this environment, I was having a call with my aunt, and she just had a knee replacement surgery just this week. And the good story about this one is, being thankful for the people who were there with you when your time was not good, when you were in difficult times. And the reason I'm telling you is because your podcast and you as a person is more about human and relationship. And for me, human and relationship is all about remembering and being grateful for those who were there with you, no matter whatever situation is. If you are able to remember that, and you cannot repay that, because the time, the difficult time, and to help somebody in that time is the most important thing. Because you may try to do something with that same people, when you feel comfortable, but that's not useful. So my mother always taught me that if you can help someone in their education, or if you can help someone when they are in deep need, related to their health, that is what the humanity is. Because giving someone education means giving them some form of life to look forward to, where they can bring the change. And helping somebody when they are in the dire consequences of health problem means giving them their 2 feet back. So that is really what stayed with me throughout my life. And when I was giving you example of my aunt, and I would like to tell you this story. So when I did my engineering, so I did study in Mumbai, and somehow my mother managed that, financially. So by taking the loans, educational loans, and that time even getting education loan was so difficult because we didn't have anything to offer as a mortgage. So it was really, my mother had to put her central provident fund, get the loan through that. So literally, her friends helped her, to loan this money for my education. And that was mere, in today's date, maybe $200, but that, even that, having that money was difficult. And and then when I finished my engineering, and when I was getting a job in Bharti Shipyard, the salaries were not good, and then the job was in Mumbai. And at that point of time, even to stay in Mumbai with that salary was not possible. So it was like, you have a job, but with that amount of money, you can't afford to stay in Mumbai. So this aunt, who just had a knee replacement surgery, she offered my mother, I can stay at her place, and to keep any girl or any female to your home, in your home, was also kind of a big thing, to take the responsibility. But my aunt really did that. So I stayed at her place, and with that less money, I was managed to at least, I was paying her some portion of it, because obviously my aunt means her family, her husband, everything, right? So I didn't want to be pile on, you know. And that's how I really, she gave me that platform, you know, at that point of time. She was a tax officer, you know, she was a very high ranking officer at that point of time. But again, you know, I've seen these females, whether it's my mother, whether it's my grandmother, or this my aunt, you know, these women were working women, professionals, everything, but they were still grounded, you know, they were still connected with their family and their values, and uh, you know, being lovable, being humble, you know, ground to earth. So it was a combination of good, you know, like you're very high strong woman, you are independent financially, emotionally, and yet you are emotionally connected with your families, your values. So that stayed with me. And so till today, you know, I mean, I'm in connection with my aunt, you know, because I cannot forget, you know, what she did that at that point of time. And now her situation is not that good, you know, in financially, because she lost her husband, and you know, her kids did not do well. So she was like, you know, now she's retired. But you know, life can take turns, you know. Today you might be really this hi-fi person earning good, and there might be a situation suddenly everything is gone, you know. And I've seen all these life cycles, you know, through other people's experiences. And that just makes me think that being human is nothing but just being thankful for to those, you know, who have been with you, and who stood by you, or who gave their hands, you know, to pull you out from any situation, whether it's emotionally, financially, in terms of education help, or even, you know, while we are having this podcast, you calling me here, you know, Luis, you know, I think there are moments, you know, when you would give me good ideas, we discuss solid projects. So I think it's all about that, being thankful, you know, just being thankful.
That makes us human.
That makes us human.
Oh, thank you, Patty. Thank you. Thank you. Actually, you're talking, and I am in my brain. I'm thinking, I need to ask Dipali about some human values, but you've been giving me already 4 or 5 through the course of this podcast. But if you have to give me your favorite, you know, like your non-negotiable values that maybe you, or what you, maybe that you have, but you that you respect the most, that you think humans must have, which is your top list of values as a human being?
If you ask me at this point of time, or through what I have learned through my life, is always listen to your heart and your mind, you know, no matter what, you know, whatever the situation. I think being true to yourself, you know, being true to yourself and being fair in that moment of time, no matter what, no matter whoever, or whoever is challenging you, or whoever telling, you know, don't negotiate to what's right, you know. So if you think something is right in your heart, in your mind, then you stand by it, you know. Don't compromise that, you know, because that's what means you being in your leading your life and living your life. So the value which I want to say is really being true to what your mind and heart is saying you at that moment of time. And if that means you need to be adversary with anybody, whether it's your child, whether it's your husband, whether it's your mother, whether it's your father, friends, your peers, you know, your colleagues, does not matter. If you think you're doing the right thing, then do it, no matter what. Listen to
Oh,
your guts.
oh my God, Dipali, this is no matter what, no matter who, no matter when, no matter. Oh my God, I hope it's. Do you practice that?
Oh,
Is
I
that
do
how?
always, I do always practice, and that's why I think, and that's why I think you start loving your own company, eventually, and I think that's really the true strength, for me. I think I have always accepted the fact that I'm emotional, I'm vulnerable, and I may fail, I may be wrong, I may be right, but I never hold anybody responsible for any of my decision. So I don't regret. I just think everything is you learn along the way and you own it. So I practice that on a daily basis. I and if that means I could be alone, that be it. I am never afraid of that, being alone.
Do you have experience of being alone?
Oh, so many times, right? I mean, so many times you you may have to walk your path alone, and I have experienced that so many times. Like, simple thing, I love trekking, and I love trekking, solo trekking. I started doing that after COVID. And many times my mother would not allow me to do that, because she's like, why are you going alone? You should go with your husband, you should go with your son, you should go with your family, what that kind of thing. So I said, no, that's my time, with myself, and I love doing that. And so that's just one example. There are moments, when you are a working woman, you are also a mother, you also have family, and sometimes you have to make these choices where, whether you have this, you have the meeting, important meeting, and you may need to, and at the same time you might have your son's exam, and you always been asked to make the choice. And I just feel that, for my son, the best thing is me, doing my assignment and making him feel responsible that he needs to study, because that's his responsibility as a student, as a son, as a child. So I think I do that most of the time, and I would be judged for, being selfish, or taking giving importance to my career or my job. But no, for me, I work because I need financial stability. And I make the choice at that point of time, and you may get judged, but I don't really, I don't see I can't hear anybody's noises, anymore. Yeah.
Life goes through phases. Yeah.
We all have to struggle. Life is all about struggle, and life is all about making those choices, and you will always be judged by your choices, but that's what life is all about.
Good, good. You mentioned many things already. You mentioned at the beginning of our chat, you mentioned strong sense of. You did mention caring and sharing, but you mentioned something about kind of in a proper way, or on the right way. Can you specify that a little bit more? What did you mean? At the beginning of the podcast, you started to mention something about the importance of caring and sharing as so fundamental to who we are, and I was thinking also, oh, okay, Dipali is giving me already a list of high values in life. But when I ask you now, you mentioned another one. How is caring and sharing? What is the importance of? How do you see that in who we are as humans? Caring and sharing.
Caring and sharing means really being available, for someone, and in that moment of time. And when you are saying you are available, means that cannot be always judged by or measured by. you know it's like there might be a time when your friend really needs to talk to you, and he or she needs your time, and you are being available for there. So that's really caring. And sharing is all about, like, I mean, all this right now, I'm speaking to you and I'm exchanging my experiences. And this is not about me, this is not about how good I am, This is about my lessons of life, which might lift somebody, somebody may find some strength into it. Somebody may find that's too bold, but when I'm sharing it means I'm actually sharing my personal life with someone, but that's not for me to be a hero, it's more about the lesson learned, so I think sharing means you're truly sharing something which could contribute some form of value addition. And I always think that's very important, in today's world, where we all are so much in hurry to acquire something. We don't take the pause, we don't take the moment, we don't take the time to reflect, and I think taking the time to reflect, to see those who contributed, who were there, make giving some time for that, your friends, your family, or whoever that it is, I think that's so important. That's what the caring is all about, you may have your own aspirations, goals, priorities, but everybody says you should give priority, you should not be surrounded by people who are negative. You might be one of that, so I think, we are always been thinking that it is all others who are responsible for my bad behaviors or my bad things, and so we need to retrospect, that you think that you are always contributing good, but you might be also the contributing bad, so having taking time to reflect on you is the true caring towards yourself, to others. And sharing is, as I said, share, like share your lesson learned, share your knowledge, uh, share your wealth with those who are in need, so that's really for me caring and sharing is all about.
Thank you. Yeah, you have a very interesting. You keep coming back to inner world. In the things you said, you keep coming back to knowing yourself, taking care of yourself, looking into yourself, being responsible. Which, yeah, is interesting. I like. Some people in my previous podcast mentioned something similar. Very interesting. The concept of, well, let's be responsible for ourselves so we can be the best for others
Others.
around. This that's a great value to have, to be honest. Put it in that way, it's not selfish. It's actually, it builds strength, and then you can strongly support others or help others or merge and merge with others. So very good. Thank you, Dipali. I think maybe we just go a little bit into the AI part of our chat that I always like. I don't know why I like AI, but because I'm a very firm believer that we need to boost humanity, especially.
Yes.
However, I'm super keen on AI at the same time because I believe in progress. I believe in getting things better and in the improvements this could bring. But what is in general, what is your take on the way AI is coming into our lives these days? Well, what is your take on this?
Okay, so I will really go back again to basics, because as I said, I think having basics and foundation good is important. And when growing up, even to buy the books, was so difficult. uh, that means you have to buy the books, and then the physical copies, right? In those days there were no internets, and at least not in our village, there were no internets. So for me to, and then when I studied in Marathi medium, so until my O level, I was studying in Marathi. So even English, science, mathematics, everything was in Marathi. So when
And Marathi is for
Marathi, yeah.
is
So
the local
Marathi,
language in your
correct.
in your
So
area.
as you know that India
Because
has
India has so many languages.
exactly, India has so many languages, and I belong to Maharashtra. Mumbai is part of Maharashtra, where most of the people who speak is Marathi, okay, and then Hindi, of course, throughout the India. So for me, when I went for my polytechnic, everything was in English. So I literally had to buy the dictionary to even, mathematics in English is I learned when I went to my polytechnic. And I mean, some people may find that exaggerating, but that's true. Okay, so I have really, really, cried a lot, during my polytechnic days, because you have to memorize first translation, and then of course the engineering language. But anyways, I think I was fortunate. When I went to engineering in Mumbai, I got good friends, like there were few friends who literally sat with me, who would make me speak in English, and read newspapers. So that's how I improvised on my English. So for person like me, coming from that kind of a era, and having today all these AI tools is a blessing. So some people may find, that artificial intelligence is really kind of taking away the old school methods, reading books, not going in detail. But I think it is again, how do you use these technology? So for me, artificial intelligence is one of the tool, you know, and I think we human are always very hypocritics of things, of technology, will replace the people, and that has been happening for years and years. We have been talking about technology is replacing this, but has really technology replaced anything? When computers came, so many people got good jobs, and they could actually negotiate good salaries. And we know that the highest paid are really from computer and technology world. So people, you see a lot of engineers get good pay, because of that. So I think we need to start rewrite this narratives. We like to, and I think it's also important who write those narratives. First thing is, when we talk about artificial intelligence and then somebody says that AI is going to take the jobs, first thing we need to have some policies, in place by governments who would say, how can somebody even talk like that? How openly are we talking that AI will replace the people's jobs? I think we should need to start a new narratives, okay, what the jobs will look like, what that means for the people, what kind of a ecosystem we need to adopt so that the people are fairly paid, people are being taken care well, what are the new skills we need to adopt or imbibe, because I think change is inevitable in everybody's life, and we need to nurture the change, and we need to create a positive narratives when the changes are coming. So if you ask me, artificial intelligence is just a tool. It's like handphones, we have handphones, but how do you teach your kids, how to use it responsibly? It's like a money, you may have money, but how do you use your money? It's just like that. So for me, AI is just a tool. You need to think, how do you, bring the ethics, bring the consciousness about it, how to use it, how to adopt it. And as long as you do that, as long as you have a good narratives around it, and you develop an ecosystem to support those narratives which are creating a positive atmosphere, i think I think that is what we need to really, really need to change, and we need to start talking about it. So yeah, so in my case, I mean, just to give you some small short answer, AI is just a tool, and there will be many more tools will come. Quantum engineering is what on its way. So I think this is gonna happen. As long as the human mind is keep exploring, innovating, it's inevitable. Learn to change your narratives. Learn to change a good, positive ecosystem to create a conducive environment for the people who are thriving to do better and to ensure the people are taken care.
And do you have a view on when AI is coming everywhere in the world, no matter the town, no matter the country? No, I feel probably most people get maybe could be exposed to AI tool. Do you think that's going to how is that going to impact cultures? Because every place has its own culture, is based on family, and now this tool comes in, and this tool is the same. Doesn't matter the country. Doesn't matter. It's the same tool, ChatGPT. It's the same one, whatever. An autonomous system. It's the same one. How do you think this will impact culture, the way people are in different? Are we becoming closer together as communities, or what is your impression of this?
It's really like very, see, Luis, you and me, imagine you're from Spain, right? If I'm not wrong.
Yes.
You're from Spain. You worked most of your life in UK, then you moved to different Asian countries, right? You went to Japan, Hong Kong, and we are taking this podcast in Singapore. I come from small tiny village in the west coast of India, studied in Mumbai, and then now working most of my years in Singapore. I have seen most part of the world, and all that could have, and then we are doing this podcast, and iPhone or this environment where we are doing podcast. Imagine all this has happened because of different technologies. But I think you and me sitting together and having this conversation, looking into each other's eyes, and really having heart to heart, mind to mind talks. So I think no matter whatever happens, having the human connections, being the feeling and the vibes will always stay intact, no matter whatever the technology is there. The good part, when we talk about cultures, the beauty of human mind is the cultures are created so that no matter whatever changes happens in the environment, cultures keeps us connected. Cultures keeps us rooted in our basic human nature of being, feeling loved, feeling cared. It gives us some sort of belonging to ourselves and to our society. So no matter what AI or whatever it comes, and that's why I said earlier, how do you use it, so if you know the use, the intention, the context of use, I think everything can be taken care, so you need to nurture that. Like, I can give you a simple example. At my home, no matter what, we always make sure that we sit on a dining table to eat our food and not having television in front of us so that we speak, or I still write letters to my son.
Oh.
So I can always talk to him, or I can message him through phone, but I write handwritten notes when there are certain moments of life. So I think you need to understand, that whatever happens, you are still a human. And human means it's all about feelings. It's all about the physical touch, which gives us some kind of sense, you know. So I think that nobody takes care. And I think the good part about all these technologies are we are celebrating festivals everywhere. We are having hybrid families. When I say hybrid, different culture people are coming together, marrying each other, gelling each other, accepting each other. We are able to provide a positive narratives around these throughout the world. So I don't see, and I think if the AI is actually going to give you some time, you can make that time to create those human connections, right? Because imagine if I have spending so much of time in reading some books and all, and I need like quick updates on that. If I can get that, I'm saving some time. So if you, as long as you know where that saving of time you're using for the human connection, you're good to go. You're good to keep that culture alive. So again, it all goes back to basic intention of use, how to use, for what purpose you are using it, for what is not non-negotiable for you. As long as you are having some of these basic foundations clear in your mind, I think no matter whatever technology, whether it's AI, whether it's quantum, or whether anything, it doesn't really matter. I think again, you need to always, and that's why I always come back to your self reflection. I think self reflection will always give you the reality check of your surroundings.
Thank you. We just need to cut for me to find a question from Albin. The question is very deep, and it goes like, how would you like the people you love most to remember you? That's the question.
Maybe I maybe it will sound as if I'm telling lie, but Louis, in my life, I never compared love, with anyone, because I think for me love is really in that moment, and to not to a very person specific. So that's why, for me, I never understood also this fact that people always say that your family is the most important thing to you. I think family is important. That does not mean your friends are less important. That does not mean your colleagues are less important. That does not mean your normal civilians when you're walking on the road, or you encounter sometimes any acquaintance are less important. I never understood this kind of comparison, because for me love is a basic necessity that you impart towards others, you know and so, because there were moments when my friends were there for me, who stood by me. The aunt I told you, she was really a distant relatives, but she gave me that platform. I could stay at her place when I was in the deep need, and that is where when my career actually rolled out. So can I say that, do I less love her the most or less? No, I don't think so. Or the friends, I have friends who actually paid their scholarship money to pay my college fees, and I'm still grateful to her. She's one of the best friends I still have, over these many years. Or my mother, who really sacrificed her happiness to ensure that we got a good education. uh, can I say that I love her the most than my husband or my son? My husband has been my anchor. No matter what, we are two different people, we may have so many differences, we are two different individuals with a different value systems, but I think there are moments when he lift me up. So, or my son, who on occasions, he just comes and he just says, everything will be all right. You're thinking too much, or who just gives me like in a flash of moment, makes things simple. Or you having this podcast with me and asking me all my life questions, So really, I think for me, love is you love everyone, and there is no measurement. Do I want them to remember me? I don't think so. I want them to have more life experiences with more people. I don't believe, in somebody should remember me, somebody should like me, somebody should love me. I never loved anyone with the expectations of they should love me back. I think somewhere I never expect. I just don't have expectations in that sense. That's why that makes me truly independent and truly free spirited person. So no, I don't think so. I want anybody to remember me or any of that. Yeah, maybe they might remember some of my experiences if that can be useful for them, some of my advices if that has helped them, and that can lift up their spirit, bring some smile on their face. Maybe that sort of thing, but not really. No such kind of expectations. No, not really.
Okay, that's a little bit of a how there in your answer, but yes, clear. Thank you, Dipali. So now we will finish this podcast, but of course you have to give me a question that I will ask my next guest.
What does life has meant to you?
Oh, deep questions coming up. Great, fantastic. Thank you, Dipali. Thank you so much. Thank you for being you're part of my life as well. We've been working together and having good time together, achieved things professionally, and it's always a pleasure to be with you. You have this energy that I think is it's very positive. You have this ability to cool things down also from time to time, which is always necessary in life. And you have a very rich experience and personality. So anyway, I just defined you very briefly. So thank you for today, Dipali. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
and thank you for your little present. This little present that you gave me, and after this podcast finishes, I'll tell you something about my book of Tokyo that is here.
Wow.
This is only a proof reading, nearly finished. I'll tell you all about it. It's coming up very soon.
Oh, thank you so much, Luis, and congratulations on your book. And to be frank, I'm thankful to know you, Luis, because I think your abilities to connect with people, and I really like your involvement, and I think this podcast, which you have started, I think that truly inspires me, because it is all about how can we be a good human being, how can we impart the values in this commercial capitalist world, I would say, and how do we still keep the culture rooted and not forget, what we truly mean as a human means. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you, Dipali. Thank you so much. Thank you. And thank you, everyone there. And I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye. Thank you, Dipali.
Thank you. Yeah, and I said, like if I really want to do woman empowerment, then I should do woman empowerment for those women who really are not empowered, who really are depressed, who really think they do not have anything to do, they don't have anything to offer, Yeah, this is
Clear?
this is about us,
Yes.
which is even
so
much
there's the phone
better.
there recording and so on, but okay, just forget it.